You know, you have been my very first connection on Instagram who I've met in
Yeah.
real life.
Yeah.
And it was just so awesome.
I know. I honestly think same here. I think you are the first person from like Explore with Kate that I've met in real life. And it like, yeah, it could not have been a better start. Course. So, hi everyone. My name's Kate. My Instagram and TikTok are Explore with Kate. That's where you can find me.
Yes.
I'm 26 years old and a digital nomad, like Vale said. And yeah, so like she mentioned, I travel while working a full-time job still, just from my laptop and usually from a pretty cool location. So I've been really lucky to be able to do that for the past year. And yeah, hopefully I can keep doing that for as long as I'm able.
I love it. I love it. And if we rewind just a little bit, what was
Mhm.
that? How did you even think about starting traveling the world? What was that little bag of traveling that just said, okay, I want to do this? Or
Yeah.
when?
I think like I've always had a little bit of a travel bug from when I was a kid to growing up. And I think the real bug bit, I guess, when I was
Yeah.
living in New York City after college. I lived there for 3 years and it was incredible. But in my third year, about halfway through, I just started feeling like really unfulfilled, I think is the way I would describe it. Like I would
Yeah.
wake up, log on to my job, do
Me too.
that, go to the gym, eat dinner, go to like going through the motions and was just like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Like, what is any of this for? And
Yeah.
so I just kind of got this like come to Jesus moment in a way of like it just popped in my head like I think I need to
Yeah.
start traveling. And that was kind of the same time that I started Explore with Kate. That was in May of
Hmm.
2024. So that was just an outlet, I guess, a way to have a passion to do something creatively outside of work where I could share about my travels. And
Yeah.
so I think those two things went
Nice.
hand in hand. I was like, okay, well, how cool would it be if I could do this Explore with Kate, like content creation thing and travel all the time? So
I love
I
that.
yeah, so I had a really lucky situation where I count my blessings every day for it, but I have the coolest boss in the world and basically asked if I could start working remotely. And he was like, "Yes, go ahead. You know, we love you. We want to keep you, so do what you need to do." And so I moved all of my stuff from
That's
Manhattan
amazing.
to Michigan. Yeah, and then after like a few months of that was like, "Hey, this has been going pretty well. Like, what if I work remotely from another country?" And then, yeah,
Wow.
so that kind of like kicked it off, and then I've been doing that ever since.
Yes, that's a very unique situation. Like not everyone had that the chance to do that and just to,
100%.
randomly ask, hey, may I, like that's you're very lucky. I love that. And for you, how has it been to go from because you used to travel, but just like a casual traveler, right? Like on
Yeah.
vacations maybe, and that going from that to a full-time traveler and digital nomad, how that feel?
It's different, definitely. And you know, it's easy to glorify and to share the pretty
Yeah.
pictures and all of like the cool things I'm experiencing, but there's definitely a flip side to doing this kind of thing full time. You know, you lose a lot of the
Yes.
comfort and the things that you have in like a normal life when you're living
Yes.
in a city you know and you've lived in for a while with
Yes.
your friends, you know, if you're lucky and you have family nearby. So there was a lot to get used to with that for sure, and very intense ups and downs in that lifestyle, I would say. I can be feeling really lonely and isolated on like a Tuesday when I'm somewhere new and I'm just working
Yeah.
and I don't have like friends yet or feel part of the community. But then on the weekend, I could be going and like visiting the penguins in Argentina. So it could be like
Uh,
also the coolest thing in the world. So just like getting used to those ups and downs understanding that it's okay to have good days and bad days, which I still struggle
Yes.
with those expectations on myself, but yeah, it's all a process.
Yes, yes, it's a huge change because you are also embracing challenges that you didn't even think about before starting the nomad journey, right? Like
Yeah,
things appear and you just need to like build yourself, learn new skills, like figure out how
100%.
am I going to solve this because I'm it's just me, you know. So how I'm going to
Yeah,
solve this now? I can call anyone because no one is that I know at least is like next to me, right?
I know. And to that point, I feel like I need to tell everyone that you were there when like maybe the worst thing ever happened to me that I've experienced so far. I had my phone stolen, like out of my hand on the street when I was in Buenos Aires, and that's where we met. And you were literally my guardian angel savior in like helping me contact like UPS to track where my new phone was. Like you came with me to the airport
Yeah.
customs and were my translator and were there for hours with me. And that was just like, I will never forget it. Like, so as much as I think it's like, you have to build up the skills and resilience yourself, it's also like
Yes.
you can rely on people, and there are so many good people in the world who you'll meet and want to
True.
help you, like yourself. So
True.
thank you again.
Thank you.
And this
Yes,
this is that
I
phone. This is
remember
the
that.
new phone.
That is a phone. Yeah, I remember that. I'm so sorry you had to go through that, but also it's part of the experience as we talked about
Yeah.
that when we were in Buenos Aires. Is like you can't just you know I don't know in advance what's going to happen, and it can happen even at home. Like
Yeah.
things can happen and you just need to
100%.
should we talk a bit about content creation because you
Yeah.
just shared these vlogs that I love so much about your travels and they are so fun and you are just so fresh so natural and you just I don't know I feel that you have like a different way of sharing things and telling stories and also when you share reels or content about I don't know suggesting things or giving advice. It's from your own experience, right?
Yeah.
And I know that you do you work in marketing or something related to marketing, right?
Kind of
No.
like between marketing, advertising, sales, so everything in that like arena. I have specifically focused on social media at a job once, so like
Okay.
pulling in that experience is interesting.
How when you mix like that part of the girl who knows about marketing, social media, or those kind of things, and the girl just having fun and living the
Yeah.
moment and traveling. How do you mix that in your posts, or do they even mix? Do you think about that, or it just happen?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a helpful background to have as I continue to pursue content creation and social media. For example, if I'm looking at like my analytics and the performance of my posts, that's a really helpful mindset to be able to shift into to think about
Yeah,
strategy and what's performing well and how can I kind of plan out like a content calendar and things like that. But
yeah,
to your point of what you were saying when introducing the question, first off, thank you so much. That is really sweet that you
yeah.
think my content is fresh and fun and natural because
It
that's
is.
absolutely what I try to go for. That's the vibe I try to put out there.
Yeah,
It becomes a balance because I think all of our biggest assets when it comes to content creation is our individual voice. And so sometimes when we do participate in trends or things that like are just popular
yeah,
on social media, we might be giving that up a little bit just for the sake of doing something that
sure.
might get a lot of likes or engagement or something. So
Yeah,
it's a bit of a balance trying to stay authentic and use my own voice while still
yeah,
thinking strategy wise. So there's definitely times where I go one way over the other. I think especially lately, I've been getting a little too concerned about like getting likes or getting follows, but
really.
Yeah, but I just try to remember why I started this in the first place, which was just to have a passion and to have fun and to do something creatively for my own enjoyment. And so just remembering that that's really the end goal is
It's
important.
very interesting that you're mentioning this because I feel like that a lot too. And I think that I'm not going to say like everyone, what, but most of us feel like that feeling of am I doing it right? Should I change? Should I
Right.
keep going? And like right, but it's also very powerful what you just say, like going back all the time to your why, or why are you doing this anyway? Why did you start it at the first place, right? I think that's very
100%.
important to reconnect. Um,
Hmm.
so, but I'm sorry, my question is, you do you think that to create the content, you really wait, I'm going to think about my question of how I want to because I feel like today with all the AI and all those things, it's hard to know who is behind the screen. So at some point, seeing your content that it's so fresh, so natural that you just, show yourself. I feel like it's easier to understand there's a person at
Yeah.
the other side of the screen, right?
For sure. Yeah. Some of my favorite creators who I draw a lot of inspiration from have such
Yeah,
a unique voice. And I guess if we're talking within the travel space specifically, instead of
yeah,
saying like, just an example, like 5 tips for your visit to Paris,
yeah,
they'll be like, this is what I did when I was in Paris, or this is what I wish I had done instead, or these are the coolest things that I did not know about. Like they'll present the same basis of information that you could find on like ChatGPT or something like that. Like there's
yes,
really no new information to be presenting, but it's just spinning it in a way that's like making yourself real and authentic and relatable and like, wow, okay, she did this thing that's like a very kind of locals only experience
yeah,
that seems really cool. Like, I should do that when I go to Paris. So I
exactly.
think that's
Yes.
the type of thing I try to evoke in my content instead of like, not to like offend anyone, like make the content the
No,
way you want
yes,
content, but like
yes, of
instead of like
course.
cookie cutter information that, yeah, I could ask ChatGPT right now, like, what should I go see when I'm in Paris? And they'll tell me.
Wait, and there was, yes, this post that went super viral of you and your teacher learning
Yeah.
Spanish with an Argentinian teacher, and it
Yeah.
was crazy. And you've been learning not only Spanish but also other languages, right? French, I
Yes.
understand.
Yeah, I think like at this exact moment, three, but
Wow.
it's wavered. So Spanish, because I am still taking Spanish lessons with that same teacher, just
Yeah,
virtually. She's too great.
yeah.
I can't give her up. Um, and then German lightly because
Oh, that
my
makes
boyfriend's
sense.
German. Yes. So he's actually my professor, and that's both fun and challenging in its own ways. And then actually my probably like most proficient second language is
Mhm.
French. I'm not sure if you
Yeah,
knew that. I studied French in high school, and then it was my
oh,
minor at
yeah.
college, at university. And then, yeah, I was staying in France over the summer, so just kind of was working on it again. So that's probably the one I could speak the best, honestly. But yeah, it's kind of fallen to the side right now a little bit, but I just try to practice when I can.
But do you have like any advice or tips? Because I would love to learn French, for example, and I've tried with
Yeah.
Portuguese that they say that it's pretty
Yeah.
similar to Spanish, but I don't feel like that, and it's hard. Do you? But see your reels, and I feel like you just do it like very easily. So I was wondering, do you
Oh my
have like
gosh.
any tips? Do you feel like there is something special that you should do to learn if you want to learn more languages?
Yeah, no, it's funny because one of the ones that kind of came in for a second and then left, in terms of languages was Portuguese for me because
Yeah.
earlier this year I was in Brazil for like 2 months. But it's funny you mentioned that because I was learning Spanish and Portuguese at the same time. And a few people
Oh,
said before I started, they're like, you're gonna get too confused because they're so similar. Like you won't be able to learn both simultaneously. And I was like, no, it's fine. Like I can do it. But sure enough, after like 2 weeks of Portuguese lessons, I was like, I can't do this. Like I'm getting so confused. So I just stuck with Spanish and kind of just knew my Portuguese like
Yeah.
greetings and little words to know while living in Brazil. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things you can do to keep in your like language toolkit, I guess. There's so many apps. I know like podcasts are a way that's really helped me just to have on in the background and just like
Podcast.
passively and actively listen to the language
Yeah.
to just improve your comprehension. Music's great in your target language. The same with movies. I've seen countless people say that they've kind of picked up a language like informally by just watching a TV show or like a
Yeah.
series of movies in their target
Yeah. Yeah.
language with the subtitles
Yeah.
on. So I like that one. And then for me, what's helped the most, and you can see from my Spanish videos, but is having like a professional teacher. And I say
Right.
teacher specifically instead of tutor because I think the two are different. A teacher meaning someone who's licensed and is a professional at teaching this language
Yeah.
to people who it'll be their second language. Um, because from like the ground up, you're learning grammar concepts and how to conjugate and how to just create
Yeah.
sentence structure and things like that. Whereas I've personally found like if I try to just pick up something on like an app, you're not really getting that like full,
Yeah.
well-rounded education. So
I've tried a couple of
lots of
apps too. Maybe they help when you already have a base of the language, so they just build. But if you
100%.
from zero, I don't know. That's okay.
Yeah, yeah. I like
Nice.
to mix in the apps for like vocabulary, not to call one out, but like Duolingo, for example. I don't think
Yeah.
I'd ever try to learn a language from ground up, but with French, for example,
Yeah.
it's really helpful. It's just like a refresher or to learn like a couple new
Right. Right.
vocab words here and there.
That and going to Paris to practice.
Yeah, immersion is probably the best thing you could do if you have the opportunity. But for most of us who are like sitting at home in bed trying to learn, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. And should we talk a bit about love? Because that
Ooh.
just happened to you. I don't know. I think that you started this journey focused on yourself, on self-growth, on just, building the new case. And this
Yeah,
just happened right in a moment where you were not even expecting it. And I don't
yes.
know, I love love stories. We all love
We
stories.
do. I'm a sucker. I'm a huge sucker for them. And so yeah, I do love talking about it, but you're right. It's always like, when you're single and everyone says like it'll happen when you least
Yeah.
expect it, and you're like, yeah, okay, shut up. But like
Yeah.
that did
Yeah.
happen to me, so now I'm one of them. But yeah, so I met my current boyfriend the first weekend I started solo traveling.
Yeah.
So packed my backpack, got a one-way ticket to Nicaragua, and then by like the craziest of circumstances and chances, we were at the
Yeah.
same bar crawl together. And were introduced to by the same like mutual friend we had both met that week. So yeah, that's David, my German boyfriend. And yeah, because we were in Buenos Aires when he and I were still kind of just getting to know each other. So
Yeah.
we went our separate ways to travel and then rekindled this summer when I was staying in Paris because he lives in Cologne, Germany, so not too far. And yeah, we decided, all right, let's give it a go. So here we are.
do you feel? I mean, I'm guessing yes, but how did that change your way of traveling or your plans before meeting him? Did it change what you planned for that year, or not really? You just kept with what you were wanting to do, or what how did that
Yeah.
work?
So this was a really big thing that I think you and I talked about in Buenos Aires because I was very conflicted because what I was going to do this time last year was kind of change my travel plans and go spend some time with him in Germany in the winter. But
Yeah,
the only thing I can really describe it as is kind of like the gut feeling I got when I felt the
yeah.
urge to go start traveling. I got like another similar feeling of like, you have been waiting to do this solo travel journey
Hmm.
for so long. Like, finish it out. Finish it out on your own. Like, if he is meant to be, if this relationship is meant to be, it'll work out. He'll be there. And so
Well,
that's exactly what happened. I was
yeah,
like, let me just continue on my way. I'm finishing out my time in Argentina. I'm going to Brazil. Um, and then yeah, like it worked out. We came back to each other and then yeah, I've like now that I didn't have any plans for the rest of the year, I've decided to go spend some time with him in Germany this winter. So
I love that. I love this. Like, it's really important, and sometimes I feel like it happens more to us, to women, than to guys. That once we fall in love, we just change our plans, right? And I think it's very important to keep them for you,
yeah.
because you started that for yourself, and then everything flows. Like, I don't know. I love that story. Like, yeah, it happens. And also, now that we are talking about solo traveling and following your guts, solo traveling as a woman is can be kind of tricky, right? How did it felt for you? I asked the wrong question, but you know what I wanted to ask. How did that feel for you? Yeah,
I was like,
it
wait,
was
hang
like
on, let me
my
think.
words were not like matching, but okay, yeah,
No,
it can
you're
happen.
fine. Yeah, no, it can definitely be scary. And I think like anyone who feels scared but interested in solo travel, that is 100% a normal feeling. Even me, like I've now been doing this for a year. When I'm out solo traveling, I still get scared, like all the time. I get scared to go do like normal things alone. Um, to go out and put yourself out there and try to make friends. If you're somewhere where you don't speak the
Yeah,
language or you don't speak it well, it's really scary to go and try to
yeah,
communicate and to let yourself like be vulnerable enough to make mistakes, and
yeah,
to learn and to grow. But I think for me, I do kind of forget that I had like a very gradual kind of start with it, which I think is helpful. I think I just started by doing like really small, like solo weekend trips. Like I'm from Michigan in the
nice.
United States, and so
Yeah,
I think like the first time I ever did like a solo trip, I just took like a weekend trip to northern Michigan by myself and just
yeah,
got used to like being in my own company for so long, doing things on my own, being confident going out alone and making decisions and doing stuff. Um, and then my first two, I guess, solo international trips were part of a larger trip that was not solo, which I think is an awesome idea.
yeah,
So the
yeah.
first one, I went to Ireland with a few friends, and then they stayed a few more days, and I went solo to the United Kingdom for like 4 or 5 days.
Okay,
And I did that in El
that's
Salvador too, which was great.
yeah,
Like my first like in a country where they don't speak much English. It's within, a language that I'm working on speaking, Spanish. The first few days I was with my brother and his girlfriend, and then the next few I
mhm.
was alone doing my own thing. So I had kind of met some people, found my way around, and got my bearings by the time I was alone.
Great advice. I just jumped full into it, and
Yeah.
I remember that I cried so much when I
Oh
arrived to
no.
the place. It was like, what am I doing? Like, it's scary. It doesn't matter. I don't know how old are you. Like, if it's just as scary when you start doing something that you've never done before, right? It's
Yeah.
crazy. But
Yeah. It's really
that's great
scary. Yeah.
advice. Starting little by little, it's actually nice. I should have done that.
Well, it's funny you say that because I'm
Yeah,
normally like not a very like sensible person. I don't know. I would be the first person to just be like, "Nah, I'll just go all in." But I think for me, like at the time I didn't have like the money to travel internationally or just I couldn't with work, which is a big thing too. A lot of people,
yeah,
especially from the United States, we just don't have like we don't have a lot of paid time off. So if you do
yeah.
still want to travel though, like yeah, just like a weekend trip to somewhere else in your state or, something you can
That's also
do
some
that's
advice.
accessible.
Yes. So I don't know how, but 2025 it's about to come to an end, and right,
Crazy.
crazy. And I'm pretty sure that decade from January it's not the same as the decade from today after all this travel. What how do you feel? What do you think changed in you? Is like what have been the most important lessons from this journey or things that you take with you? What are the things that stay in your heart? I don't know, that you carry
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, a lot, a lot, a lot. I think, one big thing that's happened to me is I'm just so much more open-minded now than I was before I started really traveling internationally.
Yeah,
Um, I feel more humble, more grateful for, my life and the things that I have access to.
yeah,
And yeah, one thing I've learned is just to be more open and allow people to kind of surpass the preconceived notions you might have. Like we all carry biases, whether they're like
yeah.
intentional or not. It's just the way our brain
True.
works. But travel allows you and forces you to break them and to meet new
Yeah.
people and like to challenge the expectations that you have. And I'm just kind of like
Yes.
at this point open to whatever life brings me and operating with that mindset for the past year has just been amazing. So,
It is. I love that. Yes, I feel like once you start traveling and op open to other cultures, to other, I don't know, to other things that are out there, like you can't ignore those things anymore. It's like you just want more. Do you want more? This.
that you want more, right? Like once you start learning and like challenging your mindset, it's like this
Yeah.
almost like addictive feeling. You're like, oh my God,
Yes.
wait, I want to keep like being challenged in that way. It's just so like
Exactly.
mentally stimulating.
Where is Kate focused now? What are your next dreams, projects, goals?
My next step is I'm going to be in Germany for the winter, working both my full-time job and hopefully getting to put some more focus into Explore with Kate. Um,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What else do I want to do? I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that's
know,
just
I
kind of,
know. It's not an easy question. Yes,
yeah, it's like it's kind of just business as usual right now, which is crazy
love it.
because that's only been my life for a year. And like I said to you earlier, it feels like 2025 has been like
Yeah,
5 lifetimes.
yeah,
So I think just continuing to dig into digital nomad life and traveling as much as I can. I'm excited to be in Germany and to travel both within Germany and around, hopefully to some countries that are a little bit
yeah.
less touristed. I think that's something I'm really interested in
Yes.
to get off the beaten path a little bit. So, yeah, we'll see what adventures come.
Thank you so, so much for joining me with this. I was really excited and I just love this chat. I
I
love you,
know. I love this. I love you. I love everything you're doing with traveling my way. Thank you so much for giving
Thank
travelers
you.
like a voice and, community with each other. And like, please keep doing this. It's
Thank
incredible.
you. Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to share also the where the people can connect with you on Instagram, follow your blog.